Good morning. It is Book Saturday with Coffee with Alain. I have my book mug because, as you know, it's been a rough morning. As you know, I enjoy reading. I have this cup with some of my favorites from when I was a kid and wanted to share a couple books this morning that might help you on your journey, whether it's self-defense or self-improvement. The first book I wanted to talk about was Dead or Alive by Geoff Thompson. The second book we'll be talking about, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And another classic, Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins. Those are today's 3 books. Hope you find some value in those like I have. First up, Dead or Alive by Geoff Thompson. This book was my first introduction to Geoff Thompson. Since then, I've read this book and a number of others by him, both in the self-defense realm, but he's also wrote some books more in the self-improvement, self-help, self-betterment area, which I've also enjoyed. Share those on another broadcast. But, he started out writing books on self-defense, worked a lot of doors in UK. He comes at things a little bit differently because he is from UK and not United States. So it's sort of good to blend his stuff with some of the stuff from, us writers in the United States. But I've learned from him and enjoyed this book. Some of the topics in this book, talking about attackers and their rituals, controlling fear, an important thing, using adrenaline to psych out your opponent, lining up your opponent, attacking tools, areas of attack, hands and elbows, legs, knees, headbutts, chokes and headlocks, throws, groundwork, biting, defense against weapons, defense against multiple attackers, the knockout. Geoff Thompson was real big in, you want to win a fight, learn how to hit really, really hard, knock the guy out. A few other things, hurdles and pitfalls regarding mental component of self-defense, visualization, the aftermath of fighting and such, do's and don'ts, and a little bit on first aid. So it covers a variety of topics in the self-defense area and gives some good practical advice. Good book. I don't know how it's available now. This was the Paladin Press edition. I know Geoff has a lot of stuff available on his websites, and he probably has this book available now, just not the Paladin Press edition. But this was the first introduction that I had to Geoff, and I was glad that I was introduced to him because he has shared a lot of good knowledge, both through his books and videos throughout the years, and not just on self-defense. Some of the books I have of his that are more on personal development, some really good stuff there too. So that's the first book today. Second book is a classic. If you haven't read it, I don't know why, because it is a great book. And that's Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Very good book. I've read this years ago, have read it a couple times since the first reading, and probably should read it again one of these days just for some reminders of some of what he taught. These are timeless principles that still apply today like they did when he first wrote this book decades ago. The 7 habits, real quickly: be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, and habit 7, sharpen the saw. That sharpen the saw, really important. That's bettering yourself, improving yourself in the things that you need to get better at or want to get better at. I also like the put first things first. They actually came out with an entire book expanding on that concept, of time management and personal management. So great book. If you have not read this, I encourage you to do so. It will help you be better at everything that you do. Some really good timeless principles. So check this out. If you did read it a long time ago, be like me and maybe incorporate it in your reading again here soon, because, it gives you a little shot of adrenaline and motivation to maybe do things even more effectively. So good classic on personal development. And another classic on personal development, Unlimited Power, Tony Robbins' first book way back when. And here's a couple of things that he talks about in this book. We'll look at that table of contents. I'm not going to read everything, but, the power of state. Tony was really big on getting yourself in that positive state to be more positive and achieve more. Belief, lies about success, mastering your mind, how to run your brain, syntax of success, energy, the fuel of excellence. If you've ever seen Tony Robbins, he's an abundance of energy, so he talks a little bit about that in here. The power of precision, the magic of rapport, just being excellent, how to reframe things and anchoring yourself to success are some of the things in this book by Tony. It was his first book. I actually like some of the stuff that he did after this, maybe a little bit better, but this had some foundational principles and some good things that are relevant today too. The some of the stuff he talks about years ago, it still applies to our life. And so another classic in personal development that has some good strategies. It was one of the things that helped launch Tony Robbins when he put this into the book, and then he did the audio programs, and then he got on TV to do the infomercials and just became a huge success. I have many of his audio programs. I have all of his books. I have learned from each of those. They're motivating, they're educational. If you apply his strategies, they can really help you. So those are a couple classics that can still help you today. Stephen Covey, Tony Robbins. And then in the self-defense world, check out Geoff Thompson. Really smart guy. Has a lot of practical good advice. So those are the 3 books today. Dixon says Tony Robbins, great stuff. Yeah, I have enjoyed Tony Robbins for decades, have enjoyed Stephen Covey for decades. I have his other books and audio programs as well. Great leaders in personal development. And I think all of us owe it to ourselves to develop ourselves as best we can. And guides like Tony Robbins, Stephen Covey, and even Geoff Thompson's motivational personal development books all can help us be better human beings so we can get out and enjoy life. And then check out Geoff Thompson's stuff to help you do it safely. So those are the 3 books I wanted to highlight today in the Saturday book edition of Coffee with Alain. If you have not gone to Enjoy Life Safely yet and downloaded the free ebooks there and watched the videos on situational awareness, make sure you do that. Do it right now. EnjoyLifeSafely.com. Put in your name and email. You'll get a link. Boom. You'll have a couple downloads on situational awareness, 25 tips on self-defense and safety. There'll be some videos on situational awareness to help you. And then you'll be ready to get the newsletters that are going to start back up soon. So everybody have a fantastic Saturday. We'll catch you tomorrow.